All right. Good morning, everybody. Hope everything is going well this Monday morning. I hope everybody is really surviving in this heat. I was out yesterday night and I thought about way back in the day. We used to live in an old four square, 1908. It was built in 1908. And back in the day, it didn't have air conditioning, didn't have central air. We had some units in windows in the house, but back then we would open up all the windows like around 6 or 7 o'clock at night because the cool breeze would come in during the summertime. Leave the windows open all night and then shut the windows in the morning, and the house would actually stay cool throughout most of the day. Now, last night I was out, it was about 9 o'clock, and it was still really warm. So it's folks don't have that luxury anymore, but it's just incredible on how much things have changed over 20 years with regards to our weather. And we certainly need to keep those impacted and the floods in Texas and in this extreme heat today. So I just want to stress to everybody to make sure that you can get to a cool place, a cooling station during the day, also at night. The heat is pretty serious, and we certainly want everybody to be safe and in this time of extreme heat. Now, I have lost a couple plants due to the heat, but certainly we don't want to lose any loved ones. So let's make sure that we are safe, checking in on our loved ones, and also make sure the other day I was at the farmer's market and it's pretty warm out there and there's a lot of dogs on that asphalt and it can get pretty hot. So make sure if you're walking your dog that to take note of the temperature of the ground because the sidewalk, the asphalt, the black asphalt can be harmful to dogs' feet. So today is August 11th and it is son and daughter day. So I do have a son and I do have a daughter. I got a text from my son just a couple days ago. He is officially back at port, will not need to go out again at sea. His quote is that he's sick of looking at the ocean and that he potentially might be coming back to the States in about 8 months. So, looking for his 2026 return back to the United States. He has reenlisted in the Navy, so this will be his second contract. But his second contract is supposed to be here. He'll either be here in Illinois, Great Lakes, or he will be in Virginia, but that's a lot closer than in Japan. He's been there for about 3 years now, so hasn't quite made it home except for a couple days for Christmas last year. So it would be nice to have him closer than he is. With that, son and daughter day, my daughter is again enjoying her husband home from the army deployment. He was deployed in Africa, so he's been home a couple weeks and has been getting back into the swing of things and enjoy each other as well. So, Son and Daughter Day, National Son and Daughter Day. So, go ahead, spoil the kids a little bit. And certainly it's celebrated annually on August 11th. So, definitely, it is something good. Now, a little bit of the history. If you want to know kind of the history of some of these days, I think they're kind of interesting. But National Son and Daughter Day, is familiar with other things like Take Your Daughter and Son to Work Day, Father-Daughter Day, and some of these was part of journalist Gloria Steinem and a result of an effort of Smokey Robinson's to stay close to, for Smokey Robinson, it was to stay close to six daughters no matter what. And some of these other ones were from journalist Gloria Steinem. But Son and Daughter Day traces its origins a little farther back in time than both of these individuals, and it goes way back to the 1930s in Missouri, where a gentleman of the town of St. Joseph took up a young boy's cause when the boy championed that his mom and dad each had Dad Day. So why shouldn't he? The man was convinced, and gradually the idea caught on. Its popularity ebbed and flowed over the years until the 1970s. So it's now rumored that a Florida House member allegedly put in a request to the U.S. Congress to officially recognize National Son and Daughter Day. The representative was Claude Pepper, and even had in mind to specially recognize George Paul, a hero of Pepper's from the old Texas rodeo circuit, by attaching Paul's name to the holiday. Should it become official? Or is that just a bunch of conjecture? Well, that's the rumor, but researchers were unable to pinpoint the exact congressional record containing the request. But National Son and Daughter Day was in the Nanaimo Daily News, the Canadian publication found in the British Columbia region, referenced the day in 1988. So the origins is a little bit murky. However, we have Mother's Day, we have Father's Day, and now we have National Son and Daughter Day. So a little bit of a tidbit for your August 11th. Now, today's mug of the day is I got this when I was at the Conference of State Legislators mug in Saskatchewan, in Saskatoon. So I had SK on it, so of course I got it, and just going to give you a little bit of an update on the two conferences I've been in. So the Conference of State Governments Midwest region is 11 states in the Midwest plus the province of Canada, and so up there it was a short conference, a couple days, but learning a lot about not only rare earth minerals, how they are able to now be completely independent of China in processing what we need for batteries, for magnets, for important components in electronics. In addition to that, in Canada, they are looking into what is called mini nuclear energy components. So these are small nuclear reactors that are fully contained. They don't need water. They fit on the back of a flatbed semi-truck. And so in Canada, they have areas, rural areas, that are powering whole cities on diesel fuel right now. And so in these remote rural areas, they are looking at in the next 5 years or 6 years deploying these mini nuclear reactors. They can power up to 5,000 houses for up to 8 years. And they pretty much use fuel from some of the spent rods, I believe, from the big nuclear power plants. Now, the big nuclear power plants uses the rods only 20% of them, because when the rods get to be 80%, then they're discarded. So this is a way that this can be used. In addition to that, they're manufactured by Westinghouse, which I thought was very interesting. So we talked about we had wonderful speakers, a former prime minister. We talked about tariffs, we talked about trade. So all in all, it is a professional development. So I know a lot of people look at being a state representative of an elected position, but it is a professional position as well. And so I had a Conference of State Governments, and then right after that was the National Conference of State Legislatures. So this is a bigger conference. The CSG conference was a smaller conference of a couple hundred individuals, maybe 500. CSG is smaller compared to NCSL, National Conference of State Legislators. There are over 8,000 individual legislators and staff from around the country. And by far, it was a amazing conference, had so many good sessions to learn from. I'm on the military family and veterans task force for the National Council of State Governments, where we talked about really how we as states can best serve our veterans and our military individuals, and got a lot of great information from my fellow veterans that serve on this council and spouses of veterans. One, what's happening in West Virginia allows only deployed service members to vote in their elections electronically. They've had zero instances of compromise. It's an electronic email type voting process. Now, those in the military have official military emails that end in MIL, so it would be easy to check and verify. So looking into that, along with a couple other items for veterans, but most importantly, we had a discussion on time. Now, this is I didn't even think about this, but who governs time? How do we make sure time is accurate, not in our country, in our state? Because so many things depend on actual time, the clock, and what we're working on. So we had a wonderful presentation from the Illinois National Guard tag there in Boston, and really had just a wealth of information. My folder and my notes are overflowing. Also on the NCSL, what is called the Women Legislator Network, and so I am honored to be president-elect of the Women's Legislator Network, which we look to focus on issues with regards to not only being a legislator, but a female legislator as well. And one of the sessions, which was very informative, and it's attended by men and women, was about safety in public life. I'm coming to you as at Facebook right now, but I see people in person all the time, and we work together with the community. And we had a speaker of one of the women who were on the list of the individual who took the life of the state speaker, and it was very, 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 very powerful. And so we just all have to be very careful. In general, we all have to be very careful. But all in all, a lot of great information, a lot of good, thoughtful legislation that other states are doing that Illinois can work with them on. A lot of discussion about artificial intelligence, AI, discussion on really how the algorithms in social media. Now, I know I'm on Facebook. I'm not really on some of the other platforms, but how those algorithms do affect brain development and brain processes. So certainly, it just I could go on and on, but a wealth of information. So good morning, Bonnie. Good morning, Roger. Thanks for joining us. So that is what I have been doing with regards to the last couple weeks. I apologize for not being on the Zoom last week. I thought that we would be able to work it out, but with the time change, and the way the sessions were structured, I just couldn't get on the Zoom last week. But we're just going to talk a little bit of other national recognized day, National S'mores Day, and World Lion Day. So all those that really appreciate s'mores like I do, certainly, hopefully, you can enjoy a s'more if it's not too hot. It's been a little too hot for me to set the fire. Now, what else is going on in Illinois? The 2025 Illinois State Fair runs from August 7th through August 17th. The fairgrounds are open 7 a.m. to midnight for the duration of the fair. And it is down in Springfield. So certainly daily rates are fairly reasonable. Adults are $10 on the weekends. Friday and Saturdays, they're $5 Sunday through Thursday, $3 for seniors. So certainly an affordable, fun place to go. What is happening on the fair? So it started August 7th, so we're a little bit behind. But what is happening today, Monday the 11th, is Senior and Scout Day. So fair visitors 60 and older are admitted to the fairgrounds for free. Special events for senior citizens take place throughout the day. Tuesday, August the 12th, is Tuesday. Fantastic midweek special that encourages families to attend the Illinois Fair Discounted admission offered for adults and seniors that day. The Carnival Midway and Adventure Village will just be $2 each. Wednesday, August 13th is Governor's Day. While the governor attends much of the Illinois State Fair, this is his day to host. The public is welcome and encouraged to attend the governor's sale of champions. In this event, the grand champion commodities and junior livestock, including the Barrow, Steer, Weather, Poultry Trio, and Rabbit Trio, are auctioned off to benefit the agricultural youth. Thursday, August 14th, Republican Day. Illinois Republicans host special guests for that day. Friday, August 15th, First Responders and Healthcare Heroes Day. Saturday, August 16th, Park District Conservation Day. More than 45 park districts from throughout Illinois will entertain fairgoers. And then August 17th is Family Day. I did miss Sunday, August 10th is Veterans and Gold Stars Families Day. They always do a good event for that. So there are a lot going on for the state fair. Now, that is just the general calendar, for lack of a better word, but there's also entertainment with regards to who is going to be entertaining on the days. So today is truck and tractor pulls, which is, I always do enjoy truck and tractor pulls. So today is truck and tractor pulls, and that starts about 7:30. And then we will have tractor pulls on Tuesday and Wednesday. And then Saturday, August 16th, is Demolition Derby and boat trailer races. So that is what's going to be happening on in the arena. Now, on the entertainment stages, they have many different entertainment stages, so you should just go to their website to see what scheduled performances are on what stage. But the grandstand, what we are looking at for the grandstand is today, August 11th, is Randy Houser with Night Ranger. Tomorrow, Tuesday, August 12th, is Sheryl Crow. Wednesday, August 13th, is Snoop Dogg. Thursday, August 14th, is Brad Paisley. Friday, August 15th, the Chainsmokers. And Saturday, August 16th, is the USAC Better Housing 100 racetrack. That's at 2 p.m. But then at 8 p.m. on Saturday is Def Leppard. And then on Sunday, we have a race again. And then the fair finishes out with Sunday, August 17th, Turnpike Troubadours. So that is your lineup for the state fair. Now, you're saying, wow, that sounds like fun. But what if I can't go to Springfield? You can also go to Central Illinois and the DuQuoin State Fair. So Illinois has two state fairs in Springfield and in DuQuoin. So the DuQuoin State Fair is 11 days from August 22nd to September 1st. And you can go on their website and look at all their schedules. Again, it's the same relative theme. Friday, August 22nd is Family Night. Saturday, August 23rd is Governor's Day. Sunday, August 24th is Veterans Day. August 25th is Agriculture Youth Day. August 26th is Republican Day. August 27th is Senior Day. August 28th, Sponsor Appreciation Day. August 29th, Illinois Tourism Day. August 30th, SIU College Day, Coal Heritage Day. August 31st is First Responders Day. And Monday, September 1st, is Labor Day. And so they certainly have, of course, a grandstand, which is going to be there. Saturday, August 23rd, David Lee Roth. That's a blast from the past, of my past. August 24th, Little River Band. And then August 28th, Tesla. Friday, August 29th, Jake Owens. August 30th is the USAC Silver Crown Race Series. And that night on the 30th is Tucker Wetmore. And then on September 1st is Gabby Barrett. So certainly a lot of fun going on to finish off the summer. I can't believe school is starting soon for a lot of kids. I know not soon enough for some parents, but certainly it's a great time to have some good family fun. Ellen is joining us, so thanks for joining us, Ellen and Roger and Bonnie. And Gay had a birthday, so I will wish her a happy birthday. So, what is going on in Springfield? We are officially not in session, but still working on things. I'm working on legislation. One of the pieces of legislation I'm working on is helping individuals who are with disabilities get a little bit of a break on their property taxes. So we do have a senior exemption. And then we have a disability exemption, but the disability exemption is far less than the senior exemption. And so looking to try and make those equal and with parity to provide some help for those that are disabled and struggling to make ends meet. So that is along with a package of veteran bills and a couple other things. We're going to be introducing those. Veto session is in October. So we're going to be introducing those before veto session. Most likely won't be considered in veto session because it's a very short time frame, but they're teed up, ready to go for next year. So what happens in the meantime? So COGFA, I talked about COGFA before, the Commission on Government Finance Accounting, Government Forecasting and Accountability, published a budget summary looking at the most enacted budget. And I've certainly read the report there. When you take out the increase in taxes and fees that were in the budget, our natural growth was just a blip. I mean, it really wasn't that much. So certainly we need to keep a look at that. Now, to date, we are in the session of bill signing. So the governor has signed 156 bills, 50 House bills, 106 Senate bills, and issued one amendatory veto in the governor's amendatory veto of House Bill 2568. Several technical changes were proposed to bring the bill into compliance with the Uniform Parentage Act. So an amendatory veto, they can do line items, and we can accept the amendatory veto of the changes of the governor or reject them. So that is the process right now. So what has been signed into law? One of them is what I just talked about. AI, artificial intelligence regulation. So we passed a bill banning AI from acting as a standalone therapist and placing firm guardrails on how mental health professionals can use AI to support care. So this bill has been signed into law. I know I've talked about this before, but really, artificial intelligence is really just a fast search engine. And so they can certainly find information that's on the internet that's available. They're no substitute for an individual person. So we have heard many horror stories where artificial intelligence pretends to be a licensed therapist. Individuals in crisis unknowingly turn to AI for help, and we're pushed towards, dangerous, even lethal behaviors because AI, we don't know how it is putting together the information that it is giving people. So AI is developing further in our country without any guardrails, without any kind of government regulation. So we are starting to take steps in Illinois to pause unchecked expansion of AI into mental health care and putting regulation in place. So that was Representative Morgan's bill. I voted for it. Healthcare providers are barred from using AI to independently make therapeutic decisions, interact directly with clients, or create treatment plans. A licensed professional has to review and approve everything. And it also closes a loophole that allows unlicensed persons to advertise themselves as therapists. So that's one of the laws that was signed into law. Another bill that was signed into law that takes effect is the Illinois Law Enforcement Training and Standards Board. So they announced their plan to implement Senate Bill 1945, which is known as Anna's Law, recently again signed into law, and it was spearheaded by Senator Mary Edley Allen. So it significantly enhances trauma-informed training requirements for law enforcement officers across the state, particularly concerning interactions with victims of sexual assault and violence and sexual abuse. So Anna's law mandates that the curriculum for probationary law enforcement officers now include dedicated blocks of instruction on trauma-informed programs, procedures, and practices designed to minimize victim trauma. And furthermore, critical trauma-informed principles will be integrated into minimum in-service training requirements as well. A law signed into law was a bill that reinforces the supportive role of DCFS, the Department of Children and Family Services. This was led by State Senator Robert Peters. And it removes the agency's authority to operate its own law enforcement agency. So it's streamlining DCFS to just focus on providing services that those that are experiencing hardship, those that are needing assistance, and ensuring that families get respect and care they deserve from DCFS. So it had this statutory authority to appoint personnel to act as peace officers in counties with more than 500,000 people. However, it was not very clear, the training and how they would navigate difficult times. So we are leaving law enforcement to existing law enforcement agencies, and Department of Children and Family Services are going to focus on Department of Children and Family Services. That's what they're supposed to do. But it takes a lot to do that. So there is another new law that was signed that was by State Senator Javier Cervantes. Applicants for grants through the Illinois Criminal Justice Information Authority will soon see faster turnarounds on their approvals. So ICJ utilizes volunteer workers to score grant applications, a rule that's intended to keep the process unbiased. However, this can lead to very lengthy delays due to reduction of volunteers. Volunteers are just being gracious with their time or unreliable expertise levels in the grading process. So this law gives them the ability to contract outside organizations to help review and score the grant application. I know we've said this before. We have to pass laws sometimes to give authority for these departments to do things they need to do. So when people say, why do you pass so many laws? This is part of it. These are called technical laws, department laws. We need to give them authority to do things. There was a bill by Senator Chesney signed into law that has two pieces of wildlife hunting legislation meant to control the spread of chronic wasting disease among Illinois' deer population. So chronic wasting disease is a fatal disease that affects deer, elk, moose, and other members of the deer family. And they've been reported in Boone, Carroll, DeKalb, Joe Davies, Ogle, Stevenson, Will, and several other counties in Illinois. We really don't know how this is transmitted from deer to human. There's no known transmission from deer to human. But the best practice is to eliminate infected animals and prevent the spreading of the disease to healthy deer populations. So people are fine, but it is really affecting deer populations. So a landowner can get a deer permit on any property with at least 20 acres of property in the area with confirmed cases of chronic wasting disease. So it also addresses chronic wasting disease. It requires Illinois Department of Natural Resources to end the use of sharpshooting program 3 years after the last confirmed case of wildlife with the disease was monitored. So it's a window of a frame, but certainly allows individuals to really try to mitigate this disease. Another bill signed into law requires all food handlers to receive training on celiac disease and safe handling of gluten-free foods. That was signed into law. State Senator Sally Turner introduced the bill, and particularly after an experience dining out with a staff member who had celiac disease. She described it as a simple, practical step that can make a big difference for so many families across Illinois. This, of course, was a bipartisan bill. State Representative Reagan Deering, or State Senator Sally Turner and Reagan Deering, and they're both Republicans, co-sponsored the bill to increase awareness. So passed bipartisan. Certainly we in the House and the Senate can work together on bills and support a lot of bills actually together. And then we had to pass a bill to allow local municipal services and allow the city of Joliet to absorb the Southeast Joliet Sanitary District. So this is a consolidation bill, and Joliet is well equipped to ensure a smooth transition between the sanitary district and the city, leading to better governance and removing duplicate systems in the area. Again, we have to pass a bill to do this, but the Southeast Joliet Sanitary District will dissolve and the city of Joliet will absorb all the assets and powers and responsibilities, with anything additional going to Will County. So that was signed into law. We already talked about what was signed into law for legislation for Illinois Secretary of State Alexi Janulius to help libraries be more secure, to increase security measures at public, school, and academic libraries. And then Illinois police officers are not required to have more training to respond to abuse and assault cases. So we had one that talked about trauma training. This is for law enforcement to ensure that every officer is equipped with the knowledge and skills to respond to victims of sexual assault and abuse. Then there was a law with Julie Morrison, Senator Morrison, which looks to spearhead and create the One Health Commission, a unique collaboration among Illinois experts to improve communication and coordination across the fields. So it's within the Illinois Department of Public Health, and it will promote collaboration amongst physicians, veterinarians, and other scientific professionals, and work closely with state agencies. So the One Health approach is supported by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. It recognizes the connection between human, animal, and environmental health. It promotes a multi-sector approach in addressing broad health challenges. And then a new law will give oversight to the 211 Emergency Counsel Service. So 211 is the federal phone line that provides callers with emergency counseling if they need to find food, shelter, mental health services, and other life-sustaining resources. So this law gives the Illinois Department of Human Services more oversight over the nonprofit and volunteer organization that provides the 211 responses. So they have to have minimum work standards. They have to have proof that they receive a diverse range of funds and demonstrate kind and quality service to callers. So this is the nonprofits. So it also calls for data reporting from providers, including call volume, reasons for each call, and caller demographic. Includes data on the age, race, gender, coverage rates, and year-to-year round trend. So certainly helping out with that. And then individuals with disabilities, I talked about them earlier, they can obtain license plates and parking placards by cutting red tape out of the process. So it was unanimous, bipartisan, both chambers signed into law. And what the bill does is it allows certifications for disabled individuals to remain valid for 5 years and allows licensed physical therapists to sign off on the applications, which the legislature, which we legislate would save people not only time and money, but it just makes sense. It's just common sense. Somebody with a permanent disability should not have to prove it every year. So and then my good friend Senator Sarah Feigenholtz, she used to be in the House, a new law strengthening Illinois effects to address teacher shortage by removing hurdles that drive people away from becoming an educator. So it comes in response to a local resident who took family medical leave during her pregnancy when she was licensed under short-term approval. For many educators, short-term approval in a new subject area is a path to becoming a more versatile teacher who can teach more classes, but typically only lasts 3 years. So the new law allows teachers to take family medical leave while they are licensed under short-term approval without jeopardizing their short-term licenses. So the change kind of stops the clock when someone takes FMLA leave so that they can pick up where they left off without losing any of their short-term approval period. So that's just a snippet of the laws that were signed by the governor. Again, we had a large amount of laws signed by the governor, 156 bills, 50 House bills, 106 Senate bills, like I said. And, oh, I have it in my notes and I forgot to go back. NCSL, going back to the subject of NCSL. So at NCSL, 8,600 individuals were there, and our own representative leader, Marcus Evans, was named president of NCSL. So nearly 200 people from Illinois were there, and he accepted the role of president of the National Conference of State Legislators, and next year's annual conference, about the same time, will be in Chicago. So congratulations to Representative Marcus Evans. So a lot of other things that have been going on is rulemaking. The gaming board adopted rules. The Illinois EPA announced 8 household hazardous waste collection events for the fall of 2025. So they are, you have to pre-register them, but there are 8 of them coming up. So these collections are open to all Illinois residents. They operate from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. on the day of the event. Pre-registration is required for all fall 2025 collection events. You can bring chemical cleaners, oil-based paints, thinners, antifreeze, motor oil, gasoline, kerosene, weed killers, insecticides, and pesticides, and other similar hazardous waste products. Fluorescent and other high-intensity discharge lamps may also be brought to the collections. Not accepted: latex paint, explosives, propane tanks, fire extinguishers, smoke detectors, agricultural chemicals, and business waste. You can find a complete list on the Illinois EPA website. Now, August 9th, which was unfortunately a couple days ago, was in Champaign County. September 6th is in Quincy. September 27th is in Springfield. October 4th is in Bloomington. October 11th is in East Moline. October 25th is in Crestwood. November 1st is in Christian County, Taylorville, and November 8th is by us, Will County in Romeoville. Now, if you can't make it to the one-day collections, you can go year-long in Naperville, which is right close to us on 156 Ford Hill Drive in DuPage County. They are open Saturdays 9 a.m. to 2 p.m., Sundays 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. And you can call them 630-420-6095 for pickup. If you're know anybody in the Rockford area, Four Rivers Sanitation Authority does operate. If you're in Chicago or know people in Chicago, Goose Island 1150 North Branch in Cook County. Lake County, the Solid Waste Agency of Lake County, currently operates a long-term household chemical waste collection program. And then if you're in Madison County Building and Zoning in Wood River, Madison County does collect it as well. So if you have any hazardous chemicals in your household, certainly you can dispose of them there. And then the Illinois Department of Housing Authority announced $40 million in funding to develop 4 non-congregate shelters for individuals and families experiencing homelessness, totaling 194 units with 422 beds. 3 of the developments will convert former hotels into housing, and 1 will fund improvements to a former warehouse that has already been transitioned into housing. So 2 shelters are in Chicago, 1 is in Evanston, and 1 is in Oak Park. So those are kind of the updates with regards to, for the most part, with regards to housing. Now, on the national level, we are looking at Medicaid cuts, and over the weekend, not in our area, but certainly we are looking at the federal bill and looking at how it's going to affect hospitals, and especially in rural Illinois across the state. So reductions in the Medicaid program, which is a public health insurance for families and individuals with low income, limited resources, and children and individuals with disabilities as well. So they're often used by really a lot of people in the community to help needing long-term or specialty care as well. So what we are looking at is roughly, according to an article by WTTW, 330,000 Illinois residents could lose health coverage under this plan. And we are looking at the fact that Medicaid covers more than about 3.4 million people in the state, including children, seniors, like I said, adults with disabilities. So we are looking to see what is going on with regards to hospitals. And we had a hospital called Weiss Hospital that is looked like it was closing over the weekend. And they just cannot make it work without assistance from Medicaid. I mean, that's the bottom line. They don't have enough individuals that are called private pay, which is individuals that have insurance through their work or through a private institution. They have too many individuals that are in need on the Medicaid program. And so really looking at these shortages. So mostly this affects rural Illinois. And when you're looking at maps to that effect, it's mostly south and west where individuals need the care the most. So what we are looking at in the reports we are getting, then we are looking at how as a state can we help out. Now, if we look at the top hospitals that serve individuals that are poor, that are on Medicaid, the children and individuals with disabilities, we are looking at the top medical center, University of Chicago Medical Center. They received in 2024 about $679 million from Medicaid. And then when you look at in the suburbs, most Stroger Hospital, Northwestern Hospital, Lurie's Children's Hospital, they all received significant hundreds of millions of dollars. But also Foster McGraw Hospital in Maywood, Park Ridge, Advocate Lutheran, St. Francis Medical Center in Peoria, Advocate Christ in Oak Lawn, they are all looking at reductions in their Medicaid allotments. And so when we go through the whole list of hospitals in Illinois, Urbana Carl Foundation Hospital got 155 million. These are really really significant dollar amounts of people. These are reimbursements. So this isn't just money that's going to them. This is individuals that qualify for Medicaid. They then get treated at the hospital and they submit the documentation and they get reimbursed for these amounts. So these aren't unverified amounts. These are really amounts. Here in Illinois, here in our area, we're all about Illinois, but Rush Copley Hospital in 2024 got about 80.76 million in Medicaid. And then Mercy on the other side of town, on the west side, got about 70.88 million in 2024. With regards to Medicaid reimbursements. So these are significant budgetary concerns that we are looking at as a state as hospitals have to, by law, treat everybody that walks into their doors. And so they don't have a choice. The choice is if they can't meet the needs, they're closing, and Weiss Hospital is looking at closing. So it's a serious situation that we're looking at with regards to the state level. So, and then I do have to for those individuals that were flying on United Airlines, they have caused significant delays. Their system called Unimatic houses flight information, and it is fed to other systems, including those that calculate weight and balance and track flight times. Certainly, it is of an issue when you have flights that were canceled, delay, and you have flight where it really disrupts a lot. And of course, United is on our radar because United is our Chicago-based airline, and they need to make sure that safety is a top priority and that they need to make sure that they get people to their destinations. But the system outage really disrupted a lot, and we are currently having that on our radar. There's not much the state can do over flights, but it is something on our radar because of Chicago-based United Airlines. So certainly that is something that is worth noting. And then if you're in for a swim, Chicago River Swim returns for the first time in nearly a century. So the swim is set for September after last year's event was canceled when the city denied it a permit. It'll be the first time people can swim in the river in 98 years. The Chicago River will host an open water swim in September. The event, which was approved by the city after officials denied a permit last year, takes place September 21st and will feature 500 qualified swimmers navigating a 1 or 2 mile course through the stretch of the river downtown. The event is set to begin at the Dearborn Street Bridge and end near the Clark Street Bridge, followed by a festival along the Riverwalk with events for Chicagoans of all ages. So the return of the Chicago River Swim marks a major victory for our city, a testament of decades of hard work revitalizing our river. That was a quote by Mayor Brandon Johnson. So the event will celebrate the city's progress in cleaning up the river and help generate funds for ALS research, for Northwestern University's medical school, and for youth swim education programs throughout the city. So U.S. Olympian and bronze medalist Natalie Hines will serve as the featured athlete for the Chicago River Swim. And she is honored to be the featured athlete for the Chicago River Swim. So this year marks the return of swimming in the river, with such events banned starting in the 1920s because of sewage and other pollution in the body of water. So swim organizers say the swim will only happen if the river meets all safety standards for human contact. Data collecting will lead up to the event will guide the call. So last year's event in Lake Michigan raised over $200,000 for ALS research and youth swim safety programs. Application for the 2025 Chicago River Swim are currently open to the public through 10 p.m. Monday. So that would be today. So 10 p.m. today, you can sign up for it. There's no fee to apply, and prior swim experience is required. So you will be notified of your acceptance, and you must agree to meet fundraising requirements prior to the event as well. So you can find a lot of the details on ChicagoRiverSwim.org. So you can check that out. So it sounds like fun. And then finally, I mentioned, my son was in the Navy in Lovell there at the Lovell Hospital there at Great Lakes Naval. But I'll leave you with Apollo 13 moon mission leader James Lovell passed away at 97. He is most famous for the line, "Houston, we've had a problem." So he was the commander of Apollo 13 who helped turn a failed moon mission into a triumph of on-the-fly can-do engineering, and he passed away at 97. He lived in Lake Forest, Illinois. According to NASA, his character and steadfast courage helped the nation reach the moon and turn a potential tragedy into a success from which we learned an enormous amount. And so he was one of NASA's most traveled astronauts in the agency's first decade. Lovell flew 4 times: Gemini 7, Gemini 12, Apollo 8, and Apollo 13, with the 2 Apollo flights riveting the folks back on Earth. So Lovell and fellow astronauts Fred Heiss and Jack Swigert received renewed fame with the retelling of Apollo 13 mission in the 1995 movie Apollo 13, where actor Tom Hanks, portraying Lovell, famously said, "Houston, we have a problem." So, as reported in Politico, Lovell is quoted in a 1994 interview as saying, "The thing that I want most people to remember is that, in some sense, it was very much of a success. Not that we accomplished anything, but a success in that we demonstrated the capability of NASA personnel." He was a retired Navy captain, known for his calm demeanor. Lovell told a NASA historian that his brush with death did affect him. He said back in 1999, "I don't worry about crises any longer. Whenever he has a problem, I say, I could have been gone back in 1970. I'm still here, I'm still breathing, so I don't worry about crises." Lovell had what they call ice water in his veins like other astronauts, but he didn't display the swagger some others had, just quiet confidence, said Smithsonian Institution historian Roger Lanius. He called Lovell a very personable, very down-to-earth type of person who says, "This is what I do. And yes, there's risks involved. I measure the risk." So, Lovell flew, as I said, 4 space missions, and until the Skylab flights in the mid-70s, he held the world record for longest time in space with 715 hours, 4 minutes, and 57 seconds. Apollo 8, Lovell described the oceans and land masses of Earth, "What I keep imagining is as if I am some lonely traveler from another planet, what I would think about the Earth at this altitude, whether I think it would be inhabited or not. And the mission may be as important as the historic Apollo 11 moon landing, a flight made possible by Apollo 8. So he is, as I said, immortalized by Tom Hanks' portrayal of him. But historians consider Apollo 8 and Apollo 11 the most significant of the Apollo missions. And it was during Lovell's last mission that he came to embody for the public the image of a cool, decisive astronaut. Lovell, Heiss, and Swigert were on their way to the moon in April 1970 when an oxygen tank from the spaceship exploded 200,000 miles from Earth. He recalled that as the most frightening moment in the whole thing. The oxygen began escaping, and we didn't have solutions to get home. We knew we were in deep, deep trouble, he told NASA's historian. 4/5 of the way to the moon, NASA scrapped the mission. Suddenly, their only goal was to survive. Lovell's "Houston, we had a problem," and a variation of a comment Swigert had radioed moments before it became famous. And it was 4 days captured the imagination of the nation and the world, which until had been largely indifferent about routine missions. So he regrets that he was never able to walk on the moon. And that's his only regret, he said in a 1995 interview with the Associated Press for the story of the 25th anniversary of the mission. President Clinton awarded Lovell the Congressional Space Medal of Honor in 1995. And like I said, he retired from the Navy and from the space program in 1973 and went into private business. In 1994, he wrote Lost Moon, the story of the Apollo 13 mission, and the basis for the film Apollo 13. In one of the final scenes, Lovell appears as a Navy captain, the rank he actually had. So, his wife, Marilyn, passed away in 2023. He has 4 children, and his family has always hailed him as a hero. So, to the family and friends and all that knew James Lovell, may he rest in peace. And he lived right here in Illinois. So, with that, Certainly hope everybody has a great Monday. I hope that everybody stays cool. There are still some instances of COVID out there that are being reported, so please try to be safe, be healthy, and enjoy the week ahead. And with that, I will sign off, and everybody have a wonderful day today and a great week. And maybe you'll try to make it down to the state fair this week. Take care.